everybody, and thanks for joining me today. So I got a lot done since last time, as there were a lot of big blocks of color, so those zipped right by. Finishing up Link's arm, and then we're working into the Deku Link. I've got most of his hat done, because yeah, those were big blocks of color there, so I've already been stitching quite a bit today. And yeah, we are at 92.25%. So this is moving right along. Yeah, I zeroed out like 15 colors yesterday, so yeah, woohoo. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, I was finishing up stuff on his arm, so that was a lot of colors there. And then it turns out I said I was all done with Zora Link, but actually there was a little bit of him left peeking out from underneath Link's hat, between his shoulder and his hat there. So yeah, so that was a few colors there. So yeah, I got a whole bunch. So I counted my my envelopes this morning, and I have 75 colors left out of 125. So yeah, we got a lot. That means we've done 50 of them. So yeah, more than a third of them are gone. We may zero some out today. We shall see. So yeah, it's been gorgeous here the last few days. I hope it's been nice where you are. Going for walks outside, and kids are riding their bikes again. Yeah, my husband brought out his summer car. Yeah, it's a very old, an 88 Honda Prelude that he rebuilt when he was in high school, I think. And you can't use it in the winter. It's lowered, and looks like a race car, basically. So, but anyway, because now that he has his license, our son wants to learn standard, because he learned on an automatic. So yeah, he took him out to a empty parking lot to try and do that. And yeah, he said at one point a kiddo left a patch. He accidentally floored it when he shouldn't have, and yeah, like, you know, I was, oh my god, what are you doing? But like, yeah, I mean, you can't learn to drive a standard without stalling it or doing that at least once. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff to remember. My husband tried to teach me, and like, I got the basics, but I would never really want to drive one. Oh, it was funny because my husband says when he was a kid, his mom drove the manual, going 50 kilometers in second gear, so you could hear her from, blocks away. And then his dad was like, how fast is she going? And I, I can't believe you drove it here in second gear. And she says, well, I got here, didn't I? Oh dear. I was kind of annoyed because the truck that my husband was trying to teach me on, he later sold to his dad. And the first time his dad drove it, he stalled it. And I said, what the heck, your dad's been driving standard for what, like 40 years? And he said, oh, that one's really tricky. It's really touchy. And if you get it wrong, it stalls. And I'm like, and that's what you were teaching me on? I was not amused. I was thinking, geez, maybe I'm not quite as bad as I thought, if it's a tricky one, even for someone who's that experienced, to not stall it. Ugh. Okay, so I'm going to go from this side out because of the way this is shaped, because I'm going to do that row, then I'm going to do the next row, and then I'm going to be parking it right there. So it just makes more sense to come from this side rather than the other side. Yeah. It will mean shorter carries across the back if I do it. And as long as all your, all your stitches are crossed going the same way on top, then it should all look uniform. So yeah, so less than 4,000 stitches left. Woohoo! We are definitely on the home stretch. And yeah, that sure was a fast project because I started this in December, so it'll be just over 5 months. If I hadn't taken time in my rotation to work on my Firefly as well, then it would have been probably 4 months, 4.5. So yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I'm not an entirely monogamous stitcher anymore. I don't like to have too many in rotation either. That gets to be a little too busy for me. Well, because I work from a master set of threads, so yeah. Basically, I've pulled all the colors for this one, and then I have sort of some of the colors that I use a lot where I'm working in Firefly are pulled in another tub. Not all of them, because some of them have colors in common, so yeah. Pardon me. And then once I finish this project, I will go and pull all the colors for the next one, which is the Marvelous Garden by Heaven and Earth Designs. And yeah, so same thing. So while I was, say, stitching my Firefly, if it was a color that was used in both pieces, I would put it back into the tub of colors for this this project kind of thing. So, because some people, when they have multiple projects, they kit them up separately. But yeah, I like to work from a master set. I think if I kitted it up separately, I would probably end up using or buying more embroidery floss than I actually needed. And yeah, I'm cheap, so. Yeah. Oh, did I? Oh, I went over by too many. Shoot. Well, I could rip back, but it's honestly, I don't think that important. It's the edge of his hat. So you know what? I am going to fudge it. And I'm just going to color that one in here. We'll pretend it's the other color, even though it's not. But yeah, I don't think one stitch out is going to wreck the look. It's not like it's in his eyes in the center of the pattern or something like that, or on the Mask of Truth. So yeah, I'll call it personalization. I'm sure later I won't even remember that I made a mistake there. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I noticed the shape of what was left in my little grid box didn't match was on my pattern, and that's where I went wrong, but that's okay. It is close enough. I'm not that much of a perfectionist. Now, if I'd only had to rip back, say, 1 stitch or 2 to fix it, I might have, but yeah, I would have had to pull back quite a bit. So, okay, I'm gonna check how much is left on this thread. Oh, a fair bit. But the way this is shaped, okay, I know what I'm gonna do instead then. I'm going to do this color first. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, sometimes I work down, sometimes I work up. It just sort of depends on the color. So I kind of worked across a couple of diagonals here, 2.5, because yeah, the big colors of Deku Link's hat went across more than one diagonal, so I decided to just stitch them as one big block rather than splitting it up. And then as I get further down here where there's more confetti, we'll probably be working more in diagonals until it matches up, and then I'll head back to the top again. But yeah, I had a productive few days, had like 800 stitches one day and like 700 another day. So yeah, because of these blocks here, it went really quick. I had to be careful actually to force myself to take breaks so that I wouldn't hurt my arms. Oh, that was not, yeah, that was not quite right. Look all wonky. So yeah, it's kind of surreal having a kid who drives. Pardon me. Yeah, usually his dad gets up first. He makes some scrambled eggs or French toast for breakfast, and then he wakes up our son, and then he used to take him to school. But anyway, my husband had to go work out of town today, so I had to get up and make the breakfast and stuff. And it was just so weird to get him up, make the breakfast, and then, you know, he says, okay, see you, Mom, and drives to school on his own, because usually that meant I had to drive him to school too, because before that, yeah, like I said, my husband would get up, make breakfast, he would drop him off at school before he headed to work. But now our kiddo can drive himself, which is just like, wow. Yeah, do you ever get used to that? I don't know. Oh. But yeah, at least for as long as the weather's good, he can still do that. The truck he's driving is diesel, so when it gets really cold, it won't start. So, but yeah, because it's an older vehicle, it's a 92. Finding a new windshield for it has been a bit of a production, because it's, yeah, obviously harder to source. Some place wanted to charge him a few grand for it, which is like, what? Yeah, because you can't sell a vehicle with a cracked windshield. It won't pass safety. So, because yeah, my husband is saying that what he wants to do is potentially sell that one so we can get him a used gas vehicle, because then that way it will work in the winter too. For now it's fine because it's spring, so we've got a few months to figure it out. Although yeah, our son does like that he's the only one driving a right-hand drive. Because yeah, it's from Japan. So it was funny because when we got it, I'm trying to think how old our kiddo was, 8 or 9 maybe, and it's a right-hand drive, so you would have people doing double takes all the time, because it's like, why is there a kid sitting in the driver's seat? And, oh, it's not driving. So yeah, it's funny though, because well, my husband got it as an off-road vehicle because he likes to do that. But anyway, he put a big bush guard around it. And so even though it's about the same size as my Honda Element, I'm like, I notice people don't cut me off as much in it. I said, I guess it looks more intimidating because it's got big bush guard and like floodlights on the top and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, his last one that he sold to his dad, he actually joined an off-road club for a while with it. So yeah, he put like winch on it and roll bars and stuff. So yeah, it was funny. It was also a Isuzu Trooper, and the guys at the club called him Little Trooper because he had the smallest vehicle, but it was often the one that didn't get stuck and would actually often pull out other vehicles. Yeah, when other people's, you know, bigger and newer off-road vehicles would get stuck, his would make it. So yeah. Okay, so yes, I chose to do that, so I'm going to cross as I go for a little bit here, so that I won't have a super long carry across the back. Actually, I'll do 4 there. Yeah, so they had trails that they would go out on, and you had to go with the group. That way, if you got stuck, you weren't stranded by yourself, you know, out in the bush somewhere. So yeah. Yeah, and then one time they went out and they went through, it was deeper than he thought it was, and it was like their dirt was like clay basically, and oh, it got all over the inside of everything and completely choked it. So he ended up having to have it towed back to our place. Fortunately, one of the guys in the club had a flatbed trailer, so he just charged us for gas, which was really nice of him. And yeah, my husband had to spend, oh, months going through and taking all the filters out and cleaning. Like everything was caked in this clay mud. Oh, yeah. Well, it ended up like, you know, right up to the fenders in it. And it was funny because I remember at that time, I think our son was about 4 or 5. And so, of course, the truck was all covered in clay. And when they got it off the flatbed and, you know, pushed it into the driveway, all this clay mud was falling off. And I remember our son said, "You made the road dirty. You have to wash it." Yeah, I told my husband he can't bug me about my hobbies because his hobbies are way more expensive, you know. Yeah, rebuilding vehicles costs way more than stitching. I said, okay, you know, you spend $600 on one tool. If I spend $600 on supplies, that's enough to keep me stitching for like 4 years. So, yeah, like even my floor stand, I only spent like $30 on. Well, a little bit more because I had to replace the bolts because the ones that came with it were not very good. They had these plastic knobs for you to tighten it, and it would strip really easily, and then you couldn't make it tighten anymore, so I had to replace it with the wing nuts. Yeah. So I actually went to the hardware store and I bought some, and then I had my husband drill the holes in it a little bit bigger because the bolts I bought were a little bit bigger. And then, yeah, it works great because now with the butterfly nuts, like I can actually use pliers to tighten it because I was trying to do it with my hands and, oh, that was painful. So, yeah, I actually use pliers when I need to tighten it. I said, though, I wish somebody would make one that was like a spring-loaded clamp. Because, yeah, the bolts can be a bit of a pain sometimes. Sometimes you're trying to turn the nut and the whole thing is spinning, which, I mean, means it doesn't tighten. So sometimes I have to use like 2 pliers, one holding the bolt and the other one turning the nut. And yeah, but, I make it work. I mean, not bad for, you know, a stand that I paid, you know, all told less than $50 for. I won't complain. Yeah, there's some gorgeous ones out there, but it's a lot. Figure what I have works, so maybe one day. Okay. So yeah, now we're gonna get back into a bit more of the confetti here. Because yeah, we're getting back into the very edge of Link's arm there. Oops. Yeah, there was a lot of big blocks here. So that went by really fast. My gosh. You are just not wanting to cooperate. Come on. Oh, come on. Don't be a pest. I even trimmed you and everything. Okay, we got her. There we go. But yeah, this is right to the bottom here, so getting close to it again. That's always satisfying. Yeah, so it's been kind of weird with my husband and I not, you know, coordinating who is picking up our son, because sometimes if my my husband is done with work early, then he would pick him up. Yeah. So we would always coordinate who was getting him. And now he can drive himself home. So like, holy cow. Yeah, my husband was saying like, it makes him sad, but he says, I remember how excited I was to get my driver's license. And so in a way, so it's kind of nostalgic, sad for us as parents, but also, yeah, you remember how you felt when you were a kid and gained a new level of independence, how exciting that was. Oh my gosh. I tell you, I am not having luck today. Of course, I was fine before when I wasn't filming. It's always the way, right? When you want to show somebody, it just will not work. Yeah, so I think I've done most of the big color blocks in this pattern now. Because, yeah, Deku Link is here and there's a fair bit of detail in a not too huge space. So this is gonna be back to confetti for a bit. Yeah, so maybe this coming week we'll finish this, or maybe it'll be a week and a half, we'll see. But yeah, we should definitely be done this month. No problem, because yeah. Like I said, less than 4,000 stitches to go, so that'll go by pretty fast. Okay, might as well switch to this color because I know it is still threaded. Oop, try not to unthread it. Yeah, it's short, so. Yeah, I'm gonna tie this off. So let's see if we make it to 93% in this session or not. Ah, yes, I found my missing envelope. Last time I was having trouble. I had taken one out to use and I hadn't put it back in the box in the tub. So yeah, it ended up buried under some stuff on my side table there. So that's my fault. I should always put it back in the box. I usually am good about that. Yeah, I didn't that time. It reminded me why. Try to stay organized. Yeah, you can see I've got colors kind of traveling sideways here. So we may end up with a few duplicate thread colors, but that's okay. There. stitching one of my hairs into it. Yeah, it's funny, my saying about my husband's Honda Prelude. Whenever we go out for a drive in that, people are always trying to race us. uh. Yeah, saying kiddo wants to learn on the manual, which is a good skill to have, because I said, yeah, if we don't have automatics, I'd be hooped. I wouldn't be able to drive. Because, yeah, one of my online friends, her country, you can drive, they have automatics, but you have to pass the test on a manual. So, yeah, I'd be so hooped. Oh, perfect. I have to end off this thread, and I'm pretty much out of thread anyway, so I like when that happens. Okay, we'll see if this thread is long enough to do all of this in this area, or if I will have to add another. Yeah, I was thinking it won't be enough. Oh. Oh, goodness, there's a hair again. Ugh. Yeah, I think this is just going to be enough. Oh, maybe. Let's see. Can we get it? Yeah, I think we can. Sweet. Okay, nice. Okay, gotta add a new color here. 3835. darn it. Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes when working with smaller pieces, that can happen. I think I might be able to sneak the last 2 stitches there with this color. We shall see. I don't know where my thread card went in this one. Weird. I'll have to make a new one, I guess. Oh, there it is. Okay. When I opened the envelope, it must have accidentally got pulled out by the envelope flap. Pin stitch just kind of didn't disappear, so just kind of pushed it down a bit. Although I am going to stitch over it, so really won't be a problem. So I'm going to end up with another thread. Pardon me. Yeah, I'm going to end up with a few because they're kind of scattered around. That's fine. Oh, my goodness, pardon me. Look at that, we're going to hit 500 done today. Yeah, it was funny. I one time posted, oh, I reached 30,000 done today. And one of my friends who wasn't a stitcher was like, you did 30,000 in one day? It's like, yeah, I wish. No, I meant a total of them. No, I'd only done like 300 that day. Yeah, that'd be nice, but my hands would have to be a blur like Data in Star Trek or something. Yeah. Yeah, we are going to end up with a whack of threads here because they are all going in funny directions. That's okay. Okay, 3861. Yes, we'll see if we hit any zeros today or not. Yeah, said I was hitting them like crazy yesterday. One after another after another. don't know if we'll hit 93% on camera or not. It depends. Back is bothering me a little bit, so we'll see how long I can sit here and stitch with y'all before I gotta get up. Let's try that again. Tack this down before I park it, as it's a longer carry. There. That way it's not going to pull loose by accident, because that's not good. Oh, yeah, there's 6 left. They're all in this area, but they are a bit scattered, so I don't think we'll get a 0 on that today. Soon, but I don't think today. Yeah, so I did a whole whack of stitches earlier, but now that I'm having to add lots of new threads, that slows things down a wee bit. Okay. Yeah, I like to try to stitch with established threads first when I can, but sometimes that's just not feasible. Yeah, this one's gonna run out. Oh, goodness. Came up right in the very center of that square right there. That's not right. All right, it's really short, but I'll see if I can keep it threaded or not. All right, adding another color. It's 38, 35 again. Ooh, pardon me. Ugh. Yeah, my husband got up early, like I said, and then couldn't sleep again, fall asleep again. I don't know, for some reason, sometimes I have anxiety, and then in the mornings it can be really high for no real reason. Yeah. I mean, I've read that that's a common thing, but like, yeah, pretty frustrating, honestly. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, so I apologize. I'll probably be yawning away quite a bit today. It's just one of those days. Yeah, I'm getting quite a whack of needles in one place. We'll see if I can continue to keep from getting tangled or not. What I may do is separate these. Yeah. Some of the needles from threads higher up on a different magnet, and that kind of helps avoid tangles as much. Okay, so I may come further up here, work my way back down a bit. Wow, I have a lot of little pieces of this color. Yeah. Well, it's a fairly popular color, I swear. It's in every project I've worked like ever, basically. Yeah, 317, 413, 823, 939, 310. Those end up in pretty much everything. Yeah, speaking of 413, here it is now. Okay, so and that color is all the way up here. Yeah, okay. Actually, do this one first. Yeah, I'm kind of all the way over the place today. It's sometimes just how it is. Tends to be the way when I have big blocks of color to work around. Yeah, I can kind of end up all over the place. Up and down my diagonal. Oh, gee, did it again. Goodness, that's irritating. Yeah, because unfortunately doing that means I have to unthread my needle to fix it. Yeah. Don't try to insert your needle back where you came through to pull it to the back, because if you don't get it perfect, it basically forms a little knot in your fabric and becomes impossible to undo. Guess how I know? Yeah, I've done that before and then regretted it, so. I think if I had more big colored blocks to do, I would have surpassed 93% this session, but yeah, confetti really slowed me down. Okay, but I will get some bigger block here now for a bit. Try not to split the fabric again. Ugh. Yeah, I've done that enough times already. So I plan to finish up this one on camera like I did last time, so you get to see the final stitches go in. You won't see the very first stitches go in on the next project because I already started it, because yeah, the top left-hand corner was almost all white. So yeah, I outlined it and filled it in. But yeah, that is going to be the next focus piece. Oh, I think the neighbors are putting their garbage cans out already. Yeah, so we don't forget for tomorrow. Okay, this is a short piece, but will be enough to do one more stitch. So I'm going to park it there, and then I'm going to start a new piece. Either way, I'm going to end up with some longer carries here, I think. It's just unavoidable, yeah, because the way this is shaped, so not much I can do about that. I try to avoid it, but sometimes it just can't be helped. Just cross-checking with my grid lines that I was correct. what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross partly on the way back. Then I'm going to do another row there. So that avoids a bit of some of the carry on the back there. Okay, I had to do that just so I could do all these stitches here. Then I can work out from this corner again. Oh, gave me a bit of a break from so much confetti for a while. There, that way. Yeah. I only have to carry it one stitch over. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the corner, work my way out for a bit. See if I can get this out. No, okay. Yeah, sometimes if it's been a while since I use a thread and other needles get stacked on top of it, then yeah, getting it out can be a real pain, so then I'll just unthread it at that point. It's more trouble to try and guide it through all the other threads than to just unthread it, pull it out, and rethread it. Oh, come on. Hit the check mark a few times, but it wasn't registering. Okay. quite a bit of confetti in this section. If I'm remembering correctly, it's the edge of his arm, and then there's Deku Link's hand was just kind of spread out, his fingers. So yeah, that's quite a lot of detail, and it will cause a fair bit of confetti. Okay. Yeah, I think this one we can carry this on further down. Yeah, it's long enough to travel. Okay, I'm actually going to do some stitches here so I can use only one piece of thread for that other symbol I had highlighted a second ago. So yeah, I think I may need to reset here. Yeah, I have way too many needles here. It's just a bit of a tangle, so just gonna pull all of these off and untangle my threads. Start again. Yeah, in high confetti areas that tends to happen a bit, so. Okay. There we are. Right, and I knew I was going to start another piece here. I have a short one for these 5 stitches here, so that will work. Yeah, like I said, I knew I was going to probably end up with a lot of duplicate threads here of the same color because it's kind of scattered around. Okay, so oops, this is a color. Yeah, I'm going to travel upwards instead of downwards. 3772. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, either way, I'm going to have to do one out of order now. I can see that. Okay. Yeah. Either way. Got one thread crossing one way going downwards and one crossing it going upwards. So let's see what I will do. In that case, I'm going to use shorter thread and then I won't have to do that. So I'm going to take this one. Oops. Yeah, so what I was thinking I was going to do is I was going to go like this all the way up, but that's not going to work. So what instead I'm going to do is I'll take a shorter piece. I'm going to do one here and park it downwards and use a separate piece for the stitches up over here when I get to them later. Okay. Okay, I'm going to unthread that for a bit because it's a shorter piece. So, okay, 38.26. Yeah, we have a lot of colors in this area here. Oh, these color changes keep it from getting boring. Well, we may get a 0, who knows? Yeah, it's quite a bit of confetti to get there, so maybe, maybe not. Not going to promise anything. Well, I mean, we'll get there eventually, but maybe not during this session. Ooh, goodness. Huh, I formed a knot on the top. That's very rare. My knots always seem to be on the back. There we go. I think, oh, it's got a bit, it may not. All right, it's very, very thin knot, so I think I can get away with continuing to stitch through it with it. No, that's gonna be, yeah. Yeah, I'm worried it might distort the holes. It is kind of big, so unfortunately, I have to cut it. Yeah. hate when that happens, but at least it was long enough that I could finish off these 2 stitches. So, could have been worse. Okay, I'm gonna just find that envelope and put that thread I trimmed off back. Yeah, otherwise I'm gonna forget what color it is. I don't want to waste that thread. Still perfectly usable pieces left there. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I need another thread here. 3740 again. Oh, throw it on the floor. Oh, that's one way to get a stretch. Reaching down to get it. Ugh. Yeah, when the colors are kind of slanting the opposite of my diagonal, it means I often end up with more color changes. Oh well. Pardon me. Okay, 3787. Which, if I'm not mistaken, was the color I couldn't find the other day. But yeah, I did finally find it. Oops, oh dear. This one's kind of scattered around too. But I think I have a few saved smaller bits, so it won't be a problem to have multiple threads. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get to 93% because that's still like another 100 stitches. So Not with all this confetti. Yeah, I'm gonna take a break soon. Stretch because my upper back is starting to complain at me. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do a few more here and then I'm gonna take a break. But yeah, I've been trying to make longer sessions for you. People have been saying they prefer that, so when time permits, and my body permits, because yeah, things lock up if I'm not careful, so when that permits, I will try to do that for you. Yeah, and we now have less than 3,500 stitches left. Woohoo! Until we are done. Yeah, I think I'll be shifting my frame over one more time to get to the very edge. Then we will be done. It's hard to believe that project flew by. Yeah, next one's like 306,000, I believe. So I'm estimating it's going to take me about 2.5 years. We'll see. It does have bigger blocks of color than say the Soulful Mediterranean Tranquility, so it may take about the same amount of time even though it's more stitches. We'll see. It's like 75,000 more stitches, so it, you know, that will take a bit. But yeah, we will see, but we won't be starting that one for another couple of sessions at least. But as usual, thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you here again another time. All right, thanks everyone.